It's the simple things in life.
So now, with you knowing that your history is in the book, let me ask you a question about your nationality. What would you say your nationality is on this sign?
I say Judah, and I got part God.
Judah and part God. I like that. That's true. You are a son of God in the Bible. You are from the tribe of Judah. So now, as a son of God, as being part of the tribe of Judah, what does God require of you? So, let me ask y'all both a question. Do you believe that your heritage, your history is in the Bible?
No?
No? A little bit? You said the Bible is your history. That's correct. The Bible is our history. Now let me ask you why. Before you take another hit from that, give me Deuteronomy real quick. You tell me, I want to show you some history in the Bible, and you tell me if this is our history. Okay? Read that. Start at verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So now, let's figure out what the word Egypt means in this context. Get Deuteronomy 5 and 6. To show what the word Egypt means, okay? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 6. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage.
What did he call Egypt?
House of bondage.
The house of bondage. The house of bondage. What's another name for bondage?
Slavery.
Slavery. Okay, so hold on. Go back to that. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again with ships.
So my brother, he said he gonna bring us into bondage or slavery again with what?
With ships.
Who went on slavery on slave ships?
Bring it out.
Us.
We did. Is that history? Is that world history? Is that in the Bible? So is our history in the Bible? Because let me ask you this. Did anybody else, aside from the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, go on to slavery on slave ships?
No.
No. Nobody else did except for those people. We the only ones who went on slavery on slave ships. I'm not saying nobody else went into slavery, but we the only ones who went on slavery on slave ships and was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's what happened to us. Nobody else. This is history. That's truth. So our history is in the Bible. But what happened before slavery? What were we before slavery?
Kings.
Kings. We ruled the earth. We ruled Africa. We ruled over here as well because we was the first people over here. Did you know that was in the Bible? Let me show you that us being over here was also prophesied in the Bible. The Bible was written many years before we came over here. It was prophesied through the scriptures. Read that. Verse 40.
Second Esdras chapter 13 and verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Samuel-Eleazar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
Read.
But they took this counsel among themselves.
So after we was brought into captivity under King Salmanassar, who was the king over Assyria over the time, he led us into captivity. But we took counsel amongst our own selves. Read.
That they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
They went into a country where never mankind dwelt. What country is that today?
Bring it out.
Here.
Here. What they call America today. And what did they call this place? The new what? The new world. They called this the new world because this was a place where never mankind dwelt. Nobody was over here before we came over here. They took that counsel from God. God said, y'all gonna go to a country where never mankind dwelt. And what was we gonna do in that country? Read.
That they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
That's what we was gonna do, because we wanted to leave the mindset and the doctrines of the heathen over across the ocean. We wanted to go follow what God told us to do without being hindered by the other nations. That's what was our plan. That's what God told us to do. But when we came over here, we did stuff like this. We started worshiping other gods. We didn't worship what God told us to worship. We started following and keeping and worshiping the sun, the moon, the stars. We worship everything except for the Creator who made all that. So now, with this being our history of the so-called Native Americans, because before this place was called America, what was it called? Do you know? Read on.
Yes, sir. Verse 44. For the Most High did show signs for them, and held still the flood, till they will pass over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
And it took a year and a half for us to get over into this country. It took a long distance. Read.
In the same region is called Osiris.
Called what?
Called Osiris.
This land before it was called America was called Osiris. And we're going to read it from the Jewish Encyclopedia. Read that.
This is the Jewish Encyclopedia. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 45.
This is even in their history, the so-called Jewish people. But you see, this is in the Jewish history, something that they've been hiding from us. Read on.
Columbus identified America with this land.
That's what Columbus identified this place as the land of Osiris. And it was prophesied in the Bible, and even in their own history they hide from you. Because what do they say to a black person? If you want to hide anything from a black person, what you got to do?
Put it in a book.
Put it in a book. Because they knew our people wasn't going to read the Bible. They know you ain't going to see your own history in that. When I first asked you, you said your history wasn't in here because you didn't know. We wasn't taught it.
Wake 'em up.
I wasn't taught it before.
Right.
But now that's what we out here to do.
The scriptures say, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV.
Do you know your history?
I'm going to show you and prove to you that the Israelites are black, were always black.
Dance for time, just move up your body. Don't get loose and groove on the body. Bruise, wine.
Put on the armor, the procedure complete. Me nah go back, nah retreat. All traitors, every Jezebel must get delete. Me no sleep on a demon, me keep a full clip. Conspire me downfall, cause them want see me slip. Stay close to the real ones, we seal off and legit. Cause I gotta use them to keep your soul from the pit. This a war life, I swear the damn thing.
So now, with you knowing that your history is in the book, let me ask you a question about your nationality. What would you say your nationality is on this sign?
I say Judah, and I got part God in me.
Judah and part God. I like that. That's true. You are a son of God in the Bible. You are from the tribe of Judah. So now, as a son of God, as being part of the tribe of Judah, what does God require of you? Do you know? Have you ever heard what God required of you?
Wake 'em up.
Other than the commandments, no.
Other than the commandments, no. Did you know that there's more than 10 commandments?
I mean, I heard that.
You heard that. Okay, so let me ask you a specific commandment. What's the 4th commandment?
Bring it out. Bring it out.
Let me show you what the 4th commandment is. Because tomorrow is part of that 4th commandment. And I'm going to show you what that is. Read that.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
So let me ask you this. It says 6 days you shall do all the work you got to do, handle all the business you got to do, but on the 7th day, you got to keep the Sabbath day holy. So what is the 7th day of the week?
Saturday.
It's Saturday. So we got to keep the Lord's Sabbath day holy. That bug is flying, messing you up right now. You got to keep the Sabbath day holy. So what are some ways we got to keep Saturday holy?
Pray.
Pray. What did verse 8 say in this? Do you remember? Read on.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter.
It says thou shalt not do any what?
Work.
Any work. You're not supposed to go work for yourself, for the other nations, for your mama, your daddy. You ain't supposed to work for nobody on the Sabbath day. You're supposed to do what the Lord told you to do. Keep it holy. Come out here and teach the people. Keep the commandments. Give me Nehemiah 10. Let me show you another one, because there's 3 to 4. Actually, it's multiple things God told you got to do on his day, because he wants you to honor him on his day. How y'all doing, sisters? How y'all doing, sis? I'm doing all right. My name's Mattathiah. What's your name? Vanessa. It's nice to meet you, Vanessa. We out here teaching the Bible, showing that our history is in the Bible. Okay? So we going over the Sabbath day. Did you know what day the Sabbath day was? No. So what have you been told? You haven't been told anything. Reread Exodus 20 and then go to that Nehemiah 10. Read that.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Now it's going to tell you how to keep the Sabbath holy, because we've forgotten that's the Sabbath day. Okay? Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Read. In it thou shalt do any work.
Thou shalt what?
Thou shalt not do any work.
In that 7th day, you're not supposed to do any work. So what's the 7th day of the week? Sunday.
No.
You go to your phone real quick. Open up your calendar. And you tell me what's the 7th day of the week on your calendar. Which day?
Saturday.
It's what day?
Saturday.
Saturday is the Sabbath day.
Yes, right.
So on the Sabbath day, on Saturday, you're not supposed to do any work.
That's right.
Now, what else aren't you supposed to do on the Sabbath day? Have you been told? Read.
Nehemiah chapter 10 verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell.
So if anybody brings anything to sell to you or to you on the Sabbath day, read.
That we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath.
We, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, would not buy it of him on the Sabbath day. Now, why is that? Why am I specifically talking about a certain group of people? Because he only gave the Sabbath day to a certain group of people. Exodus 31. Did you know that? Did you know that? He only gave certain laws to a certain people, because the Bible was not meant for everybody else. It was only meant to the 12 tribes of Israel. And that's in the Bible. Thus saith the Lord. Let's show you. Read that.
Exodus chapter 31 and verse 14.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel.
Unto who?
Unto the children of Israel.
Who was it speaking to? The children of Israel. Who was it speaking to? Okay, read.
Saying, verily, my Sabbaths.
My what?
My Sabbaths.
Read.
Ye shall keep.
The Sabbaths you as an Israelite are supposed to keep. Read.
For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord, that doth sanctify you.
So hold on. Hey, y'all, she trying to get y'all to come over. Don't ignore her now. Come over. I got a question for y'all, too. Come on. Yeah, I got a question for y'all as well. So we showing that the Sabbath day was only for the Israelites.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.